us today. She has a degree in childhood development, and she's a platinum with Young Living. And I love her motto, or her goal. Her focus is to find leading empowered women to find personal health and financial freedom. And she's also been a birth educator. And I personally know her from traveling and meeting her, and she's got the sweetest spirit. And it's just amazing that she has such a heart to help people. And you can tell just by being around her. And I heard a little thing from Tiffany that she gets to glean all her wisdom from Nikki. And she said, well, every time we get together, I'm taking notes 90% of the time of what Nikki's doing. So make sure you listen to what she has to say. And thank you so much for being here with us today, Nikki.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was so awesome. It's so fun just to see you guys' faces, just having this long stretch of not seeing people at convention and events and all the things. And it's like warming to my heart. So it's good to see you guys, even virtually. Yeah, so I'm honored to be asked to be on. I hope that I can just pour some encouragement onto you all and just share a little bit of my story, and also just kind of share a little bit about where I'm at with my journey with Young Living. So we started with Young Living. It's like 8.5 years ago. And so it has encompassed our life. It's what our family knows. I'm sure it's similar to you all as well. But, after doing this for a while, it is, I'm talking on the topic of mindset today. And I feel like that is something that I've really had to lean into big time over this last year, and really dive in ways that maybe I wouldn't have in the past, because I thought that I don't need it, right? It's that ego part that I'm going to be talking about here in a second. And I definitely don't have it all figured out, but there are just some things that I feel like after you're doing this for a while, you have to make sure that you're checking in on yourself, because we don't have, somebody above us always making sure that we're doing that. And so we have to make sure that we're filling ourselves up sometimes too, because our cups can become empty, right? So I just want to give you guys some encouragement. So here's what I'm going to talk about. I'll try to make it short and sweet. I know your time's super valuable. I'm going to talk about mindset for a minute, and then I'm going to talk about how to relaunch your own business. Like, let's say that you've taken some time off, and you're really wanting to get back in because you love it, and you love the community, and you know that there is an amazing future with Young Living. But then also how to relaunch somebody in your business. Like, if somebody comes to Sunshine and is like, okay, Sunshine, I know I took a step back, but it's time for me to get back in. I need this for my family, and I want to do this. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is Life Steps app. So I know it's a lot of little things, but the Life Steps app is a really great tool that I'm sure your upline has talked to you about as well, but it is something that I am obsessed with. Tiffany and I have talked about it a lot, and it's really just become an integral part of how we run kind of the back end part of our businesses. Okay. So with all that being said, the first thing I want you guys to write down, if you're taking notes, is just the word mindset. Okay. Literally just write that down in front of you. And then I want you to write down the word ego, 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 because you all, this is going to become your biggest obstacle. When I first started, I was like, I would hear people talk about this and I'd be like, what? I don't have an ego problem. What? Like, that is not. And what you don't realize is, as you go along, it just comes up. You just get worried that other people are going to be thinking about you, or doing things, or judging you. And even though you don't think that that's ego, it totally is, because it's like, oh, I'm worried that Gina might worry about blah, blah, blah. That is our ego. Okay. So that's going to become our biggest obstacle. So the only two things that we can control is how we show up, and our mindset and our attitude throughout everything that we do. The only two things that we can control is how we show up in life, and our mindset and our attitude. So it's certainly true with our work, but it's also true in other places of our life. So when my mindset is lacking, like it was a few months ago, I can see it with how I show up with my kids. I can see it with how I show up with my spouse, with my health, with how I'm taking care of my body, with how I sleep or lack of sleep, and even with how I'm drinking water. It's how I show up for myself when my mindset is lacking. So mindset's a skill that will help you in all areas of life. But here's the deal. The mindset helps you to do things that maybe you don't want to do all the time, right? Because not everything's fun. Running your Young Living business isn't always fun. Hello, being a mama isn't always fun, right? Dishes, laundry, all the things, running errands. So not everything's always fun, but it's how you show up for it that will change. So you're not going to love all the tasks that you have to do when you're running this business, but what I want you to think about is quit envisioning things that don't serve you. Quit envisioning things that don't serve you. Stop thinking about how something might, could, or possibly happen. Stop doing that, because when we speak, think, or believe something, we look for things around us to prove us correct. Okay. Like an example is when I was looking for a new car a few years ago and I had my mindset on a Honda Pilot. I was like, that's what I want to get. All of a sudden I was like, I'm seeing all these Honda Pilots everywhere. What in the world? I didn't even realize that they were around. We start looking for that when we're telling ourselves that something's important. So like if somebody gets off of Essential Rewards on your team, like let's say somebody that you signed up even a couple years ago, all of a sudden gets off of Essential Rewards, or if someone doesn't get back to you right away after a class, you're going to think the worst case scenario. I know I did, I try not to, right? But what happens is when we actually ask that person, hey, just wanted to check in, wanted to see if everything's going okay. I noticed that you're not on Essential Rewards anymore, or that, hey, I haven't heard back from you with that class. Just wanted to see how things went. A lot of times they have a reason like, oh yeah, this bill came up and I had to get off for a while, but I plan to get back on. I really love these products. It's not always the worst case scenario. So when we think the worst, we are continually proving ourselves correct. Holy moly. So can we just challenge ourselves to stop believing for the worst? I want you to flip that script, and I want you to think the words, I'm going to hit my next goal with grace and ease, that my members are going to be head over heels in love with the community and the customer service that I provide, that the health benefits and improvements that are going that they're going to see are going to create lifelong lovers of this product, that you are going to be bringing in builders all the time, because that is what you draw to yourself, right? So I'm preaching this to myself as well, but we need to make sure that we are in childbirth, I would call this mantras. So I would teach the mamas and the dads to speak these positive affirmations over the mom, both during pregnancy and in labor. Like, this is the most crazy thing, but when I was in transition with both my babies, my mantra was ride the wave. This is crazy, but I literally saw myself riding on a wave over the contractions. But that is what helped push me through. And so if I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, something's going to go wrong. Oh my goodness, my baby's in distress. Well, do you think that would help my blood pressure? It would help my body? No, not at all. And so we need to make sure that we are telling ourselves positive affirmations. And so those are just some things that are good to put on repeat. Okay, so because when things come up against me, and against all of us, like the new website last fall crashing, right? That was a big deal. So we know that logically and I shouldn't say the new website, the old website with with the whole holiday catalog thing. When that happened, right, I knew that was, okay, I got to pivot. This is a hard thing. This is something new. This is something hard that we're all having to go through. But in the back of my mind, after talking through with key people like Tiffany and some other, people that I knew logically that this was going to be a monumental point in our company where we were going to have to pivot and change, and that it's going to change the trajectory of our company. So we had to hit that in order to change the trajectory. And now we're going to have this phenomenal website that you guys are going to be blown away with, that is going to completely change the way that people order and sign up and share Young Living. It's going to be amazing, but we had to hit that low. And sometimes we have to hit that to realize we have to make a big change. Sorry. So, but we get to choose to believe that what is going on is not going to impact our goals that will be achieved. So we can control the controllables, and a lot of it is with our mindset. But we have to keep working that mindset muscle so that you can say, with confidence, that good things are coming, and your mindset is truly a muscle. So you have to be working it every day with those positive affirmations. One book that I love, if you haven't read yet, is Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I love this book. It's literally on my nightstand. It's been on my nightstand for over a year, and I just pick it up and we'll just read little bits of it. But he talks about the roots create the fruits. And he says, imagine a tree. Let's suppose this tree represents the tree of life. So on this tree, there are fruits, and we can always think of looking at the trees and just looking at their fruits as the main results. And we don't, and maybe we're looking at that and thinking, oh, they're too small, they don't taste good. Most of us put even more attention and focus on the fruits or our results. But truly, it's the seeds and the roots that create the fruits. It's what's under the ground that creates what's above the ground. It's what's invisible that creates what's visible. So what does that mean? It means that if we want to change the fruits, we will first have to change the roots. And I feel like that is the mindset. So if we are wanting fruit from our business, with our marriage, with our kids, with a good friend, we have to be thinking, changing that mindset and working on that and rewriting those mindset codes. So, all right, that kind of tees me up for relaunching our business. So these are just a couple of main points that I want to talk about whenever, if you or you have somebody that you're working with that is really wanting to get back into Young Living. The very first thing besides working on mindset that I want you to focus on is communicating it. Okay, so just a second. So right away, communicating it to your upline, to your leadership, so that they will know how to support you. So if you have to be honest, because your upline already knows that you've stepped away for a while, and they are probably picking up some weight of what you haven't been able to be helping with. So communicating it and just making sure that you're really transparent, and then also communicating with your downline. And this is the part where the ego can come into play. Sorry, my eyes like super watering. With your downline, you're like, well, maybe I'll just jump back in and just pretend like they don't really know. You guys, your team knows, right? If they haven't heard from you in a while, if they're like, man, I haven't heard from Nikki in a really long time. I wonder what's going on. I hope she's okay, right? Because that's really what the majority of people are thinking, even though in ourselves we're thinking, oh my gosh, they're judging me. Just being transparent and saying something like, hey, I know that I've been MIA for a while because of X, Y, and Z. You got to just own it. Own it, put yourself out there, rip that Band-Aid off, and just say, I know I've been absent for a while. And you can explain why if you want to, but you can say, but I'm back and I am excited and I need this in my life. By doing that, you will gain their trust and their respect. You guys, we're all humans. They really just want to know that you're human and that you're wanting to be back and to help to support them. But this also lets them know that they too can relaunch if they want to. Okay, it normalizes it. It's like, it's okay. So communication is the key. And then the next thing with relaunching is get really clear that you have everything that you need to be successful and you are more than worth it. You guys, your uplines provide you with so many amazing resources, with classes and with posts and with promotions and with community. That is way more than a lot of us had when we first started. And so a lot of it is telling ourselves that we are worth it and that we have everything that we need. The other thing is, Young Living is not the end goal. Being a Royal Crown Diamond is not the end goal of my life. Can I just say that? It is a vehicle. It is a vehicle, and it is a freaking amazing vehicle that I'm so proud of. but there's so many more things that I want with my life, right? But setting aside your fears of judgment and pride and ego so that you can show up and relaunch your business is the attitude that you need to be at. So let that fuel you. Your dreams and goals are more important than your fear and your ego. And that's worth fighting for, and you are more than capable. So, so communication, knowing that you're more than capable, and then finally action. You guys, you got to put the rubber to the road. So communicating with your upline, telling your downline, and then just freezing is not going to get you to where you want to go. So staying in a place of action is the thing that keeps us out of our own head and getting stuck on overanalyzing, right? Do you have those people in your life, or maybe you, where you're just constantly analyzing, well, if I do this, then it's going to happen this. Well, if I do this, then it's da, 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 right? And it's like you're just spinning and you're not actually taking action. So if you're wanting to relaunch, communicate it with your upline and your downline, and then focus on enrolling in income producing activities. Keep it simple. Focus on what you can control. And the important thing is you're not going to see results like right away, right? So if you've stepped away from sharing for an entire year, you're going to have to put some work into it to get that momentum and that consistency and to start to see progress. So roll up your sleeves, get in the trenches, get back in the trenches, right? You got to put yourself back to where you were when you were like in the trenches, teaching the classes, giving the samples, asking people, you know, how that you can help them. And get back in it to be able to get that momentum back to where it needs to go. And then try to energize the people who, and that's a lot easier to like get the momentum with new people than trying to energize people that haven't been doing anything for a while, right? Like the last thing that any of us want to do is like pull people along. That's the last thing that any of us want to do. But when we create new energy with new enrollments and new people that are experiencing the oils for the first time, and that their children are like becoming so much healthier because they're using a diffuser instead of Febreze, and they've kicked out Clorox and they're using the Thieves household cleaner, and they're like, this is amazing. My home is smelling amazing. My skin isn't rashy anymore. My gut's healthy. That momentum, people are going to pick up on that energy within your team, right? And then they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm reminded of why I love these products from the beginning. So keeping it simple, enrolling, talking about essential rewards, and then plugging them into all the education that your upline's already providing anyway. So, and then lastly, if you're wanting to relaunch, I want to challenge you just to stop stopping. Okay. Literally just stop stopping. Period. End of story. This is the last relaunch of your business, is what you're going to tell yourself. I am a leader that has just, I'm like a turtle. So I've literally just, I'm consistent. I show up every week. I did hit silver pretty quickly, but all my ranks have really just been consistent, and I'm just moving along, and I show up and I support my people. Am I perfect? No. Do I have a business degree? Absolutely not. But I love my people. I love sharing about these oils, and I don't stop. And what the people that I've seen not continue are the ones that push super duper hard for a rank and then completely zap themselves out and then step away and don't do anything for a year. And then they're like, well, what happened to my business? So just, even if you could do one thing a day, just don't stop, just be consistent. Because here's why. Even if one thing a day for your business, even if you just do one thing a day for your business, it's better than stopping and going. It's way better to be consistently average than to be a unicorn every once in a while. I heard that from a leader that was talking through Young Living. But it's way better to be consistently average than be a unicorn every once in a while. And just like I said, I've seen that happen where they go really hard, they hit something, and then they just stop. So just commit to not quitting and not stopping. Okay. And then if somebody in your team is like, Gina, I want to do this again. I stepped away for a while because we moved, because we had a baby, because I had relationship stuff, because we had a death in our family. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. And one thing that I love to focus on is just holding space for someone and inviting them back in. Maybe you've got somebody that has kind of been on the fence for a while, and you haven't heard from them in a while. Just invite them back in. If maybe you're doing a business boot camp, or your upline is doing some type of big push for the spring, send them a message, and you could literally say something like, hey, we have this business class coming up. I have no idea if this is the right time for you, but I wanted to put it out there just in case that it is. I know that one time you were doing this business and excited about it because of, I wanted to fund adoptions, because I wanted to pay my mortgage, because I wanted to, have my kids be able to go to dance class, right? All those whys that you know of, that are in their heart, you can remind them of that. And then just invite them back in, hold space for them. There are so many ways that you can find success helping people relaunch, but the biggest thing is, don't hold a grudge for these people. Okay. Don't cut them off. Don't have these negative feelings, because they're going to pick up on that. They're going to pick up on that vibe when you're checking in on them. If you're just kind of like, short, or you just have these feelings inside, you have to let that go. And that's a lot of the mindset stuff too. It's okay to have disappointment. We all have disappointment. That's called life, and it's running a business. But yeah, you just focus on being grateful for all the things that they've done, because people step away for a season, and that doesn't mean that they're gone forever. So at least a few times a year, take the opportunity to invite people back in. And then the next thing is, share your goals with, and your commitment to helping others achieve theirs. So letting people know that they are not alone is huge, especially right now. And if we commit to being vulnerable and how we want them to succeed, it's going to let them know that we're all in this together. So this is what I think when I help them relaunch. I think, let me help them get money in their pockets quickly, right? So instead of filling them with a lot of fluff of like, okay, you can do this, read this book over here and learn the comp plan and figure out how to get to RCD. It's like, no, let's help them teach some classes, get some enrollments going, and show them how to help others to share their referral link. That's going to get money in their pockets quickly. And it's going to get them some wins, right? Because everybody just wants some wins in the beginning. So letting them know, hey, this isn't going to be an easy thing to do, but let's get some money in your pockets right away to get your order paid for. I know that was huge for me whenever I first started sharing. It was like, I just want to be able to get my order paid for my family. So yeah, just being really open and honest with them, letting them know, hey, occasionally you're going to have no-shows for your classes. I did. It's okay. I still do. It's okay. Sometimes you're going to have somebody tell you that they're not interested in Young Living. It's good to know that probably means not right now, but you're putting that seed in their mind of like, hey, there are healthy alternatives for X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to remember that for down the road. But help your people stay in the game, remind them of their why, and then keep note of seeing them with their little wins, not just their ranks. That's something that I've really leaned into over the last couple of years, is because for a while it was like, oh, so-and-so hit their new ranks. And then after a while, it was like a lot of people weren't being acknowledged just for teaching their first class, or having their first enrollment, or having somebody get on Essential Rewards for the first time. And those are all things that you can do to help spur that community within your team or within your business groups. So with all that being said, just remember that you are more than capable and more than worthy of your success. Speak that into the people that you enroll. Commit to stop stopping. Help your people to commit to stop stopping. And that's when you'll see that just good, steady growth within your business. And you will get to where you want in the business and help others by just keeping it simple, focusing on action and things that you can control. And you will see so much growth and success because of that. Okay, with all of that being said, one of the things that I've changed in the last year is relying so heavily on social media. I'm sure we all are kind of in the same path. Like, Facebook groups still have a place within my business and within our teams, But a lot of people, number one, aren't seeing posts, and number two, just don't really want to be on it because a lot of times it can be toxic. So my first tip with social media in general is just unfriend people or unfollow or hide people that you don't need to see the negativity. I don't need any more of it. So I'm just really like narrowing down what's being put in front of me. But then the other thing that has been just amazing is the Kreitzes, Courtney Kreitz and her husband put together the Life Steps app. And for those of you that have heard about it, I'm just going to just put a plug in there because it has really been such a fantastic fit for my team, for helping onboard both my new people that are product users and then also my new people that are wanting to just share. It takes off the reliance of pointing people to Facebook when they really maybe don't want that. And so the Life Steps app, for those of you that don't know, there's a free version, and the free version is fantastic. It's part of the onboarding that I have whenever somebody just signs up. I say, okay, we have a team app. It's called the Life Steps app. It's free. Download it here. You'll put in your member number. It plugs into your Young Living account. So you put in your member number and password. And then right away, it has like a welcome, like welcome to Young Living. You can walk through, your starter kit. Which starter kit did you start with? So it even asks that. Let's say somebody started with the Thieves starter kit, or with Ningxia Red or whatever. You can have them choose that. The other thing that I love is with this period of transition that we're in, I know that the Life Steps app will be updated as soon as Young Living's website's updated. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's going to all be updated. And it's just like an evergreen material that I'll be able to point people to. So there's the free app. Then there's also a pro version. So the pro version is like around $8.99 a month. And it comes with a website. So that's like my website that I use. That has, you can go on and look at it, but there's like a short little video, a little bit about what essential oils are and why Young Living is different. And then at the bottom, there's different kit options. So obviously when the new website launches, that's going to change. And I don't have to think about it. That's why I love it. It's just going to change automatically. And the pro version, you guys, it comes with a website. It also comes with a ton of gorgeous graphics and Insta stories that you can use. And resources. One of the things that I've really been loving is the videos. So as you guys can imagine, the Kreitz's team is huge, and they have all these really wonderful business videos that as I give my dog a walk, or as I'm doing the dishes or folding the laundry, I can listen to in little chunks that have really helped me with my mindset, and also giving me ideas on what to do during this season to help grow my business. And I really appreciate that. The other thing that it has, and this comes free, is a wellness assessment. So as a new member, that's one of the things that we encourage our people to take. It just kind of helps them to see, oh, wow, I didn't realize that my endocrine system, because it's asking you all these, it's asking you all these prompts. And then at the end, it kind of gives you what body system needs focus the most. And then from there, it points you to bundles. It's just so easy, and it's all put together. And so those are all kind of just easy button steps that I've been able to direct people to and encourage people to look at. And it's super duplicatable. $8.99 a month is a write-off, and it's something that I feel comfortable, encouraging all of my team to be able to use. So we've been loving that as well. One of the things that we're doing with our weekly business calls right now is something called the follower formula, which is in the Life Steps app, the Life Steps Pro app. And I am not a huge Instagram influencer, but I am wanting to learn how to smartly connect with people using hashtags and all these things. And it baby steps walks you through how to do that. And so that's what we've been leading our team through the last couple of weeks. We're almost finished with it. But anyway, if you're interested in growing more on social media, check out the follower formula, which is in the Life Steps app. We really love that. So anyway, I guess that's about all that I have to share. If anybody has questions, or Sunshine, if there's something in particular that you would want me to talk more about, feel free to let me know. But that's about it that I have.
Anyone have any questions for Nikki? So my question is, I'm always interested in how people work on their mindset. Say you're in the dumps, like bad, then what? How do you walk through that, Nikki?
I usually, like, if I'm just in a serious funk, one of the first things that I do is literally set my phone down and get off of social for a while. And I like get out in nature. I will literally go take my shoes off and go walk outside. It's like a lot of times it's because we are just overwhelmed. And what our phone is telling us is not always the truth. Um, and so that's like one of the first things that I do is I give myself a break. I go to give my dog on a walk. I go give my dog a walk or go get outside. Or I call really key people in my life that where maybe I just need to cry. I mean, we all need to do that sometimes. It just depends on where you're at. And sometimes we just need to cry, right? And a lot of times it might not be your Young Living business. It might be something that's going on personally that's affecting how you're handling a challenging moment within your Young Living business. So just taking a step back and reassessing what really is going on, just helps you to have a fresh mindset. Sometimes I just need to have a good night's sleep. I mean, 2 nights ago, I didn't sleep very good. And yesterday I was kind of being to my husband. And at the end of the day, I was like, I was exhausted and I apologize. And even like coming to that point where you have to like recognize, wow, I've made some mistakes. I need to kind of follow up with that. It just lowers the negativity that's going on. So I don't know, just a couple of different ways. If I'm feeling completely zapped, and I just need some mindset work, then I plug into, a podcast or one of the videos that I mentioned from the Life Steps app, or I pull out one of these books and just literally reading for like 10 minutes, just putting something inside of me. So
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that.
yeah.
So what I heard was you take self-responsibility and you do something about it, right? You take action. I love that. And then I have one more question. Do you have any business mom hacks as far as, do you feel like there's something that you do that's your secret sauce to keep your life, your home life and your business life working well together?
Well, I've got 2 teenagers that very much can get irritable if my work life is pouring into our family time. And so it has really made me be aware of, like, I'm a worker bee. I love working. It's like I'm an 8. On the Enneagram, I love doing all of that. And I have to just really be aware of my time. And so using my time really well. And then also telling myself, I'm not going to change the world by working between the hours of 5 and 9. That's like my family time. And so I just have to tell myself, like, I'm going to get done what I can get done today. And then I'm going to spend time with my family. And also putting, I know a lot of you guys know this, but like putting timers on your phone where it will tell you, okay, this is your time off, like screen time, because we have this need to be checking our messages. And it's like, no, people don't, I'm not an ER doc. I don't have to be on call all the time. So, and really my team respects that. When I follow that, they know this is my mom time. This is my time to be with my family. So setting those good boundaries, I think, are important. And I'm not always good about that, but I have been more, especially over like COVID over this last year, because the kids have been home more. I've had to be really smart with like blocks of time, and I'm sure you all have too. So yeah. And then apologizing. I mean, I have had to really suck up some serious I don't know, like just being really good with apologizing if I have done something where it's hurt one of my family's feelings, and it teaches them that, we can all make mistakes. So
And I love that you give them the opportunity to come to you and say, you know, your schedule's not so good right now for us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal for, you know, children to be able to come and be open and honest. Like, we still need time. I know we're teenagers, but
Right. Yeah.
okay. And then what is it like living as a yellow red?
Oh my
I
gosh.
oh my gosh, I need to know about
It's funny.
that.
I feel like during certain seasons, my red comes out. You're a yellow red too, Barbara. That's funny. Like during certain seasons where I'm like pushing hard, or like where I have somebody who has like somebody who calls me and asks me the same questions about wanting to grow their business, but they're not putting the rubber on the road. That's when I will call them out, and I'll just be like, well, tell me what you've done lately to actually grow your business. And they're like, dang, what happened to my yellow Nikki, you know? And so there's just certain moments where I'm like, okay, because honestly, I respect that. Like, I respect when, you know, Tiffany and I are talking and she's like, well, what have you done lately to grow your business? I mean, we all need to hear that sometimes. And I appreciate that. And I feel like the red in me has grown more over the years. I'm sure a lot of us can, like, you got to be able to be truthful and straightforward with people. And I also don't always want to talk about fluff. And, you know, I mean, I love people hard, but I also am here for a purpose. And so what are you saying, Lindsay? I definitely
Gotten more red over the years.
gotten more red over the years. I know. And I think a lot of that is also confidence. Not that I have a ton of confidence, but in fact, I will just say, I'm going to be super honest. Gina, a couple of years ago, asked if I would ever be interested in coming on and talking with her. And as soon as I popped onto this call, Gina, and I saw your face, it reminded me of how a couple of years ago I was like, I don't even know what I would say. And here I am. And it's taken me some time, but I'm just like, if I have anything that is helpful, then I am willing to share it. And so we all are growing all the time. And yeah, I don't know. So
I love that. So what happens when there's conflict between the yellow and the red?
oh yeah.
I mean, my son is a blue green. Think about the conflict, you know. So how do you deal with that?
Well, my daughter and I are my oldest daughter and I are very, very similar. And it's a lot of it's a lot of us butting heads because we want to be right. And because we are both kind of leader type personalities. And so it's a lot of apologizing. It's a lot of talking through emotions. And it's a lot of me not trying to get the last word, because I'm kind of bad at that, especially with my kids and my husband. I've got it anyway. So just a lot of like ego checking. I mean, I feel like my yellow doesn't really have a ton of conflict with people, but it's when I have to like say hard things to people that I have to make sure that I'm doing it in a loving way, you know. And that's where a lot of like the books that I've read have come into play. And it's interesting. Phil, my husband's in IT sales, and he talks so much about different trainings that he'll do, and I'll be like, that completely applies to what we're doing, even, you know, because he's in IT sales and we're kind of like in health and wellness sales, right? And so working and figuring out how to like work as a team and handling conflict. Anyway, it's just interesting how like everybody's lives have such similarities, and just working on growing yourself, self-improvement and all of that it spills over into everything that we do. So yeah.
Love it. Well, it's cool whenever you hear people talk, because like you can tell that you're a really amazing mother just because you give your children room. And I don't even know them, right? But I can tell that you give them room to tell you the truth. They get, you know, they have the ability to come to you, and then you apologize whenever you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And like, that just is really awesome. So I can see that you're taking care of your team the same way. Like, just, what is it, you know, falling forward, you just continue to improve as you go, iterate your way to awesome, right?
Love that.
Love that. I appreciate you being on with us today.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have any questions? Anything else?
And I'm in the Kansas City area, so if anybody is local to the Kansas City area, I would love to meet up sometime for coffee.
Wow, what an offer. Awesome. I'm on my way.
Cool.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Nikki.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody. See you later. Bye.